My name is Courtney Bergmeier. I'm the executive director of the Bijou Theater, and I started working here in 2015. So as the executive director, my primary responsibilities are overseeing all of the operations of the theater, as well as all the staff, starting with my general manager and the programming and the marketing and the development and the community outreach. So we have about 10 full-time employees that all have various duties and responsibilities that carry out those functions. But I'm kind of at the top of that chart and directing the vision and strategic plan for those initiatives. The Bijou is probably one of the most historic buildings in Knoxville. Everybody knows the Bijou Theater Auditorium, which was built in 1909. And that was actually added on to an existing building known as the Lamar House, which was built in 1816 as a hotel. So together, the Bijou Theater houses two of the oldest buildings in Knoxville. The Lamar House is very special. It was a premier hotel back in the frontier days of Knoxville's beginnings. It also served as a Civil War hospital during the war, and it continued to be a hotel up until the 1970s. And when the theater was built, it was built for vaudeville performances. So the Bijou is really unique and different from the Tennessee Theater in that the Tennessee Theater was built for movies. But the Bijou is built for live performance, so you can kind of tell that when you look at the architecture of the two buildings. The Bijou really draws you into what's happening on stage. It's very intimate and the acoustics are really incredible. Whereas the Tennessee Theater, it's much more opulent and kind of dreamlike, because when you go to a movie, it kind of suspends you from reality. So we're very fortunate, we're very lucky that Knoxville has not only one, but two historic theaters still standing and still operating and thriving today. Our primary function as an organization is to present musical concerts. We work with the talent buyer out of Asheville to produce and present over 100 concerts a year. But we also rent out the theater to other groups for live presentations. So we have some long-standing performing arts partners like the Symphony, Jazz Orchestra, UT Opera, Knoxville Opera, Appalachian Equality Chorus, a lot of different groups that don't have venues or performance spaces of their own call the Bijou their home. And the Bijou really serves to be a gathering and performance space for all. So we really pride ourselves on being that home for our community, as well as bringing national talent to the stage and sharing that with our community too. I think that for the most part, the Bijou sparks a lot of joy. There aren't a lot of people that walk away from a concert feeling worse than they did when they walked in through the front doors. So I really get a lot of satisfaction from bringing that joy and fulfillment and enrichment to everyone who calls Knoxville home, as well as a lot of visitors who come to Knoxville to experience live art here at the Bijou. Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings just performed here last Friday. And while I'm a huge Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings fan and a huge Americana Bluegrass fan, but it was truly one of the most exceptional shows I've ever seen in this space. It was just Gillian on guitar and Dave Rawlings on guitar and banjo, and then they had a stand-up bass player. And for such a small outfit to fill this whole theater with so much energy and beautiful sound, it was exceptional. At the end of the show, they ended up stepping out in front of the microphones and performed Long Black Veil, completely acoustic, and you could have heard a pin drop in this house with 750 people in here. It was truly the kind of music that a hall like the Bijou was built for, and it was really special. What do I find most interesting? Maybe Big Ears is one of my most favorite events that we put on here. At least for me, I never really know what we're gonna get. A lot of the artists are unknown or unfamiliar to me, but I always know that it will be interesting. Also, the Banff Mountain Film Festival is one of my favorite events that we do here every March. In Banff, Canada, they have a national film festival, and then they take the best films that were entered into the festival and go on tour with them. And it's a lot of films that feature kind of like outdoor adventure activities like rock climbing and kayaking and ultra running and mountain biking and all kinds of things that I would never have the courage to do on my own, but it kind of transports me into those spaces and into those activities, and I always find that to be very interesting. We have a really wonderful partnership with WDVX, which is a local nonprofit radio station down the street that specializes in Americana, folk, and bluegrass music. And so we've been doing a quarterly music series with them called Tennessee Shines that features at least 3 different acts, each showcase. A lot of upcoming musicians that are just kind of coming onto the scene, as well as some tried and true kind of legendary acts. So it's always a good mix, it's always a good time, and then it's broadcast live from the Bijou on the WDVX radio station, so that always adds an extra element of spontaneity and fun. Something that started here before I started working at the Bijou Theater back in 2008, and then it kind of took a hiatus and just came back in the last year. So I'm very excited to see that continue to grow.